Hey everyone, welcome back to another Explainer. I am absolutely pumped to get into today's topic because honestly, there is nothing quite like watching a real-time, data-driven turnaround story unfold right before your eyes. Today we're diving deep into the recent and highly strategic acquisition of the Colorado Creative Network. You might actually remember them as the Legacy Pueblo Creative Network. But on August 16, 2026, executive producers Douglas Sterner and Michael Swain officially stepped in, taking full ownership and operational control. And look, we aren't just going to talk about their vision today. We are diving into the hard, immediate data to validate exactly what this change in leadership has actually achieved in its very first days.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap. First, the August 16 transition. Second, the OTT streaming metrics. Third, the social media breakout. And finally, strategy and future outlook.
Section 1. The August 16 transition. You know, every great turnaround has that one chronological pivot point, right? And for CCN, this timeline maps it out perfectly. Pre-August 2026, that's our baseline. This was the era of the Legacy Pueblo Creative Network. Sure, it had strong local roots, but it was operating with legacy branding and, let's be real, pretty stagnant metrics. Then, bam! August 16, 2026 hits, the Sterner and Swain acquisition. This was the immediate intervention. Almost instantly, by late August, we enter a phase of surging growth momentum. The baseline problem was completely solved by new, aggressive management.
Now what we're looking at here just perfectly captures the ethos of this new ownership. Douglas and Michael came in and immediately injected a high-quality, ultra-professional vision into the network's content production and its digital footprint. They didn't just want to be a local channel. They brought a literal 6K Ultra HD mindset to everything they touched. And honestly, upgrading to this visual standard was the exact catalyst that ignited the incredible growth we're about to see.
So when we contrast these two eras side by side, the strategic leap is just undeniable. The legacy operations were highly regional, but the new CCN era features an aggressive digital push that totally shatters those old regional borders. I mean, get this. Their content is now available nationwide in over 58% of all households via Roku streaming devices and an additional 36% via Amazon Fire TV. Literally overnight, they transformed a local broadcast into a national digital powerhouse.
Moving on to Section 2. OTT streaming metrics.
Now, it's one thing to have a national footprint, but it's another thing entirely to actually get people to tune in. So let's shift from the overarching story to a specific platform-by-platform analysis, starting with their proprietary streaming app. What's really interesting about this is the bar chart tracking total watch time. Look closely at the dates. August 16, August 17, the activity is basically flat, just a baseline murmur. Then, suddenly, August 18 and 19 hit, and those purple bars absolutely explode upwards. You can literally see the exact moment the audience discovered the refreshed platform and the new content strategy began to take hold.
That specific spike, it resulted in 16.54 hours of total watch time in a super tight 7-day window right after the takeover. Now, in the grand scheme of global television, 16 hours might seem a little humble, but in the context of a hyper-local network turning itself around from essentially zero, this number is profound. It showcases an immediate, undeniable shift in audience appetite. Basically, the lights were turned on and the viewers actually showed up.
And you're probably wondering, what exactly are they watching? Well, this breakdown shows the specific legacy and nostalgic assets driving that lifetime OTT watch time. Sloppyville, USA is totally dominating with nearly 85 hours. The classic John Wayne film, McLintock, pulled in over 41 hours. And get this, the famously terrible cult classic Plan 9 from Outer Space broke 10 hours, proving we all love a good sci-fi disaster, right? But really, this proves that classic, quirky, independent video-on-demand content is resonating heavily with this specific audience. They aren't looking for standard, polished network television. They want that unique, nostalgic character.
All right, Section 3. Social media breakout.
If the internal app data shows a healthy spark, the external social media channels are where this growth just becomes truly explosive. Check out the analytics dashboard for the network's Facebook page. Just look at this graph. It's a totally flat, lifeless line throughout late July and early August. But right after August 14th, leading into the official August 16th transition, the line goes completely vertical. And this brilliantly illustrates a textbook hockey stick growth curve. It's the kind of chart every digital marketer dreams of seeing. That vertical climb represents a staggering plus 1,000% increase in views. Just let that sink in for a second.
The new ownership took over, started pushing their fresh content and historical documentaries, and boosted viewership by 1,000% in a matter of days. That is the thrilling momentum of a turnaround working in real time.
But let's see how this momentum builds. Because views are fantastic vanity metrics, but they don't mean much if people are just aimlessly scrolling past. What we're measuring here is actual audience engagement, the likes, the comments, the shares. And what do we see? The exact same vertical spike mirroring the views. This completely validates that the new content strategy isn't just clickbait. It's creating a sticky, loyal audience that genuinely cares about what they are watching.
And the punchline of all this? That engagement spike was an unbelievable 5,000% jump compared to the previous period. Yep, 5,000%. Honestly, this is the ultimate confirmation of a successful transition. Douglas and Michael didn't just buy an audience, they woke one up. We do have to ask, though, who exactly is this audience? Because if you are running a media network, you need to know exactly who is watching so you can monetize them. Looking at this demographic donor chart from their Facebook analytics, we can see a heavy lean toward male viewership, sitting at 67% compared to 33% female. This is a highly specific, highly targeted demographic profile, and it's exactly the kind of audience that local automotive, hardware, and lifestyle brands absolutely crave.
So, the crucial point becomes even clearer when we look at their age brackets. 31.5% of their audience is between 35 and 44, and nearly 30% is between 45 and 54. When you mash those together, nearly 60% of their new audience is concentrated right in that 35 to 54-year-old range. Guys, this is the golden demographic for advertisers. We're talking about established adults with actual disposable income.
Finally, Section 4, Strategy and Future Outlook.
Okay, so we've validated the data retrospectively, but how do Douglas and Michael take this actionable roadmap and turn a brilliant first week into a decade of dominance? Well, it starts right here, monetizing the momentum with these incredible tiered advertising packages. As you can see, they started a very accessible $4.99 a month for the CCN starter package, which gets local businesses on TV and social media. And it scales all the way up to the $2,500 CCN takeover package, which includes heavy TV rotation, custom branded content, and full social campaigns. Armed with that 5,000% engagement spike data, they can easily prove to advertisers that these packages are worth every single penny.
So, to wrap this all up, here are the actionable recommendations based directly on this explainer's findings. First, they need to lean heavily into those top VOD assets. If the audience is eating up Sloppyville and McClintock, give them more of that exact flavor. Second, take that demographic data and ruthlessly pitch local businesses on reaching that lucrative 35 to 54 male demographic. Third, use that 1,000% Facebook growth to upsell clients into the higher-tier ad packages. And finally, they should use their sister radio properties like the Urban KICH and Country KJSP stations to cross-promote listeners right over to the OTT television app.
It's just an incredibly exciting time for the Colorado Creative Network. But, it leaves us with one final thought to ponder. With momentum building this fast and the data so clearly validating this Turner & Swain acquisition right out of the gate, what is their next big strategic move to turn this early data spike into a dominant, long-term media empire? The foundation is built, the audience is waiting, and I, for one, cannot wait to see what they broadcast next. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and keep learning.